Hey everybody, it's the Golden Goose. Just wanted to make one more video before I left to do a couple things, but I think I'm gonna talk about demons on this one because they seem to be very prevalent in my life. So, you know, being somebody who is close to God, pretty much, I get a lot of hatred. A lot. And it's pretty much because, well, to be honest with you, I didn't really catch it until, I noticed it. It just kept happening and happening and happening. And, for somebody who can see in the spirit, when it first started happening to me, I was freaked the fuck out. Being able to see these things inside of people, outside of people, it freaked me out. It freaked me out so bad that I didn't even want to, when it first started happening to me, I didn't want to even look at people in their face. Because it shook me so hard that I was just like, what the fuck? Is everybody gonna have a demon in them? Like, what the fuck? I don't even want to look at people. This is when it first started happening. Now I'm used to it. But basically, all right, let me explain myself. What was happening at first, well, it kind of happened that it kind of all happened together, At first, I started seeing the spirits. And then after that, I think they started to try to hide from me once they noticed that I can see their full form. And the way that they hide is they basically, instead of seeing their full form, I would only be able to see their eyes. Like if I'm walking around and I see people and somebody's an evil person, or, just whatever, are being evil at the moment, or they have evil intentions, or they just got done doing something evil, whichever one, I'll see the spirit. But I'll only see the spirit's eyes when I take a look at the person. But what was happening at first, without me realizing it, people would just stare at me. And when I mean stare, I mean like an intimidating stare the whole time, just looking at me. And I don't even know these people. I used to walk around, I used to have bums curse me out, spit towards me. They ain't touch me because it would have took it to a whole nother level. But yeah, I had people just, staring me down and cursing me out, or not, just not wanting to be around me and this and that. And, I didn't understand that at first, because it only happened after I got ascended, not before. Before, everything was, everybody was just whatever. But after, it got crazy. And funny enough, half of those people ended up becoming my friends. Or not even my friends, I'm sorry. They ended up becoming nice to me. They ended up becoming like nice acquaintances because, even though, you might say I have an attitude or anything like that, I control it. I control it. So basically they would curse me out, get out of here, this and that, and da 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 da. And then next thing you know, like after going through that for like a month, I'd walk up to them, not walk up to them, but I'd walk near them because I would go around and do my daily things. I'd go to this store, I'd go to this store. And next thing you know, they're nice to me. All of a sudden they just shifted and they're not like that anymore. And all of a sudden it ended. It's no more of that and blah, blah, blah. But, it's kind of funny. It's like the demons didn't expect me to see them, and then they try to hide. But even if they hide, it doesn't work because they're gonna die. I had a friend who he basically had a heavy drug habit. And, I used to see him from time to time. And every time I seen him, he was worse and worse and worse and worse. And, basically life was crumbling. He lost his marriage. He lost his house. And even that wasn't enough. He was going downhill from there. The drugs were basically taking over his finances. It just... all of these things happening. So I see him one day, and I'm talking to him, and he's about to walk out. He's about to walk out my apartment. And while he's walking out, I see a shadow figure brush right in front of me, like he brushed so close in front of me that if he was human, he would have bumped me, pretty much. And I basically had a reaction like, what the hell? And I looked and I seen him running. I seen the shadow figure running, and he ran through my wall. Now, when he ran through my wall, he ran towards the outside, basically. Instead of taking the door, he just ran through the wall. My friend took the door, but he ran through the wall towards the outside. So when I seen him run through the wall, I'm just like, what the? And then I see the shadow figure jumping, running and jumping, like if it's jumping a damn fence or whatever. And I'm like, wait a minute, why would you be running and jumping? You just ran through my wall. Why would you go outside and then start jumping like if you're like jumping a fence and doing all these things? Well, I found out that he died. He died. I kind of felt kind of bad for him a little bit, but he died. And it's because I basically have a fucking landmine, a spiritual landmine embedded in me. God told me about that. I've been known about that. Well, now, not before. Before I didn't know. But, yeah. So after that, now my friend's doing well. He's making money. He's got his own place. He's different. You don't see the stress in his face anymore. He's a different person. He's maintaining, everything is like up and up now. Which I kind of found I found it funny. I said, man, when this shadow thing was in this guy, this guy was losing everything. He was basically on the verge of just being, homeless, and just everything gone. But once that shadow figure ran away and died, or he tried to run away and then he died, but his whole life changed. And the reason I'm saying this is because, I just want to educate people that you got to understand, if you don't keep a good, solid heart, these evil things can get in you and they can ruin your life. And that's why I say that we basically live in hell. because these things are everywhere. They're taking over people. They're taking over high-powered people, high-profile people, whatever. They basically run the earth, pretty much. You know, and that's why, well, in life, we got all these bad people, and we meet all these people with attitudes, and we get into arguments, and all these little things. A lot of people, they don't know. They just, oh, this person just has an attitude. Oh, this person is just an angry person. No, they have a damn demon inside of them, and that demon is making them act that way. The sooner you realize that, the better you're gonna be. The more you're gonna understand what's happening, what really happens in the illusion that we live in. Now, look, I'm not gonna go as far as to say it's like, oh, we're in the whole matrix, and no, I'm not gonna say all that. All right, because this is real life. This is what we see is what we see. All right, but we don't see everything, and that's the thing. That's the thing. We don't see everything. We don't see the controlling forces behind that orchestrate all of these actions that these bad people take. We don't see that. We just see the attitude. We just see the, we see the attitude. We see the anger from them. We see their actions. They steal. They do this. They do that. That's what we see. But we don't see what's causing that, which is pretty much an evil spirit. All right? And we live in their dominion. And that's why this is happening. All right? Now, if you ascend, right? If you ascend and all of a sudden, because when I ascended, God told me, he said, listen, I'm going to give you a second pair of lenses for your eyes, and I'm going to give you my armor. I'm going to give you my armor. And I'm like, what the fuck are you giving me your armor for? And he's like, well, I want to give you the eyes so you can see the evil before the evil comes to you. I want you to be able to see the evil. And I was like, all right. And then he's like, and then the armor, so none of that evil can touch you. And I was like, all right, that's cool. So, God wouldn't give me a second pair of lenses if I didn't need it in this world. You understand? There's a reason behind all of that. There's a reason behind all of that. But it's only because he wants to protect me, because I'm the only person here that ascended. There's nobody else. There's nobody else to protect. If that was the case, other people would have armors and second lenses and all that. So he's going to protect his one asset down here on earth in the midst of a gazillion demons. Pretty much. Yeah. But I mean, when you wear the armor of God, you don't fear shit. That's pretty much how I am right now. I don't fear shit. I see the demons all the time. They literally, I've seen them jump into people in front of me and speak to me and try to deter me from doing this, try to argue with me. But it's like, bro, you're not gonna argue with me, man. I'm not gonna give you that. I cut that off in less than a minute. Like, no, I'm not into that. Could you go do this for me, please? It's that simple. It's just, And, to see that is so funny, because you'll see the person completely shift their attitude. I'm talking about in the most weirdest way. Like, it's like hot and cold, literally, just with attitudes. Hot and cold. You're hot and then you're cold, and then you're hot again, then you're cold. But I'm used to it by now. I'm so used to it by now. You know, they can't do anything but talk to me, and that's like really petty. It's like that's all you got. It's not like you can touch me. You can talk to me, but that's not gonna get you anywhere. That's not gonna get you anywhere. So, now that they know that I can see them and all this stuff like that, they want to hide, but they can't hide, man. And I'd like to do some spiritual work, man. I want to help people. I know a lot of people get tormented by these shadow figures. Like when I say shadow figure, it was literally a shadow in the shape of a man. That's what I'm talking about. But I've seen a lot of documentaries about people being haunted, and oh my God, I woke up and I seen this shadow figure standing in front of me. And da 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 da, and I seen him walk by my door, and da 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 da. Yeah, those are the same ones that are running for their lives when they come across me. Running for the hills. All right? So, and it's not just them. There's a lot more different demons. They're different colors and everything. You would not believe. You would not believe. But there's actual people from our history that are walking around in demon form. People that were important, people that were I'm not gonna say important, because the people that are demons, these are evil people. Even though they probably had positions of power, they were still evil people. So obviously they became demons when they passed over, and they continue to haunt people or whatever. But yeah, people from history, from the 1500s, 1600 era. I see the demons so clearly that I can Google them. I can Google image them and find them. And find the actual person that they were. I did it already. Yeah, so, I'm not going to say they're all like that, because that's just what I saw. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more that I'm going to be able to see that are probably different, I'm guessing at this point, but I don't know, but yeah. So, people got to be careful out there. Stick to your heart if you want to be protected. When when they say that God allows things to happen to you, for the betterment, basically, pretty much before I ascended and I was going through all that stuff and whatever, it was pretty much all the demons tearing me apart, fucking me up, having their way with me. Pretty much. That's pretty much what it was. Because let me tell you something. In my family, there was so many moments of people doing hurtful things to me. And I just sat there and thought about it and said, why did they do this? I didn't even deserve this. I didn't even... Like, it was so out of bounds. It was so out of context. Like, that now that I think about it now, I say the only thing that it could have been was that there was an evil spirit in these people that was causing them to be this way, because you can't even explain it logically. The way that some of these people turned on me, acted, like, you just can't even explain it, And let me give you an example about about having a strong heart. I'm going to use my family as an example. You know, I never had a good relationship with my father. Now, even though my father did very, very hurtful things to me, said very, very hurtful things to me on a daily basis, multiple times a day, things that'll hurt you so bad, I still tried to love him. I tried to love him because he's my father. I tried to love him for the love of my mother, just for her sometimes. I tried to love him just for the sake of the family in its entirety. You know, I tried over 20 times, over 30 times, over 40 times, over 50 times. After extending myself to him, thinking that I would make him happy, just to find out that it didn't do anything. Like, you gotta understand, over and over and over and over again, until my mind was tired, and I would go to God and be like, God, why? Explain to me why my family is like this. After I tried to mend, and I tried to heal, to become a family, a real family, like the way it's supposed to be. But did that change who I was? No, it did not. A lot of people will get raised in bad families, and they'll become bad themselves. They'll succumb to that darkness. You know? But if you know who you are, and you know that you are not a person who wants to do bad things, and you take initiative, and you don't let nothing stop you from who you really are, I don't think you have anything to worry about. That's just me, but I'm just saying, I don't think you have anything to worry about. All right? So I just wanted to get on here and, give you guys a little education about these dark forces. And, eventually, I'm going to walk around and kill them all. That's the way I see it.